Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into the Go Somewhere podcast presented by Blue Falcon Bourbon Whiskey and Flex Zone Outdoors. If you're listening to this, head on over to YDAOutdoors.com and save 20% off everything on your order by using the promo code PODCAST. That's it. Save 20% off by using the promo code PODCAST on your entire order at YDAOutdoors.com. Hey everybody, welcome to the Go Somewhere podcast presented to you by YDA Outdoors, Blue Falcon Whiskey, Aim True, Drink Blue, and Flex Zone Supplements. Enter the Flex Zone. Let's get started. How you doing today, Chad?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, we had a pretty productive day doing our fake photography like we're a couple art students.
Hey, we got to get the content out there, so...
If you guys didn't know, if you couldn't tell, this is our very first attempt at a podcast, so please bear with us. I know that only 10 or 12 people will probably listen to this, and it's all going to be our friends and family telling us how great it was.
I think you added a little too many people. I think maybe like 2 people will listen to this, so, you never know.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, it's just kind of par for the course for us. I mean, we have an idea, and we're rolling with it, so... might as well try and have fun while we're doing it.
Yes, sir.
Well, we posted up on Instagram, Facebook, all of our social medias for you guys to send in your why you started hunting, and one of you did, so thank you very much. mylife.on.the.water. Debbie. So thank you, Debbie. She actually said that it was an old-fashioned necessity to have food on the table. She didn't want to showcase, but, well, Debbie, you were the only one, so thank you so much. She just wishes that there were more dads that took their kids hunting, and she doesn't see much of it around where she's from, and dads have lost their way. So, thank you, Debbie. We appreciate it. And that kind of leads into us. Chad, why did you start hunting?
Oh, funny story. When I was younger, as a kid, I always played outside in the woods, just with friends, just playing the army and war and stuff like that. And I was always into the action and the moving and just getting, outside. So I was like, why would I want to go hunting when, like, the deer and all don't shoot back, So I was always into the paintball and stuff. So my very first time, I was like, all right, I'm going to try it because I had a friend. I lived in West Virginia for like 2 years, 3 years-ish. And he was like, let's go hunting, and I was like, all right, well, what time? He's like, we got to get up early. And I was like, what? How early? He's like, oh, we gotta be like at 5, gotta be on the list. I was like, are you crazy? I'm like, no. He's like, yeah. So I stayed over at his house. We went out, and it was freezing cold. I didn't know what to take, really. I had like army sweatpants and a sweatshirt on and all green or whatever. So we were out there. I had like a little 22, and he had borrowed his dad's like AR or something. So we were out there. We went out through his house, and it's early. It's freezing cold, and we're just sitting there. And I get to the point where I can't feel my toes, and then it starts working its way up my legs and my fingers. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, can we stop this now? Because it's just insane to see it be out here. And all we saw were just a bunch of dogs running through the woods and all. So I was like, I'll never go hunting again. This is boring and nothing, like, I'm not moving around. I'm just got to sit here. I was like, what? So then, a couple years later, I grew up, finally became a man, and was like, you know what? I'm going to try hunting again. I'm better. I can actually sit there. I'm not, like, got all this energy and everything. So I was like, I want to go hunting. And finally, like, I didn't know anybody really in Georgia that hunted, and then I met Jake, and then I was like, he's like, I'll go hunting. I was like, I want to go. He's like, well, come on, let's go. I got a buddy standing also. I was like, all right. So I got my stuff, and I've been hunting ever since with you. For how long now?
Well, I mean, it's 2 years now, because this is the second season we've gone together.
Yeah, about 2 years now. Got me a little button buck last year on the last day. This year, I haven't gotten anything. We saw some stuff, but, Well, to come back to the lady's story, about she's wishing that other dads and stuff would take kids out and get them out and do all that stuff, and then there's, kids without dads and all. that leads into our nonprofit that we're starting, the Outdoor Roots Foundation. That's one of the big things that we want to start doing is getting with kids and bringing them out who don't have dads or troubled youth and stuff like that. That's one of the part of it that we want to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember, like you said, 2 years ago, I think when we worked together, you were just in the warehouse talking about, I think you said that Zay had property up in Rome or something like that. So you guys were going to go hunting for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I mean, you guys could just come to my parents' house. I mean, they've got a lot of property and we can go hunting over there. And then it just kind of cascaded from there. It was like a pebble rolling down a snow-covered hill. And look where we are 2 years later. We got YDA Outdoors, and we just started, like you said, the Outdoor Roots Foundation, and a nonprofit organization to educate people about the outdoors and, really change people's lives through the healing process that comes with hunting and fishing and camping and anything really outdoors related. So, and to Debbie's point from our Instagram post, the outdoors is very healing. It's very teaching. It's Mother Nature. It can teach you every life lesson that you need to learn. And there are a lot of people, especially in today's day and age, that don't do it. They don't get out, and they don't ever have the opportunity to learn all of these very important lessons, and they're just glued to their phones and playing video games. So we want to get people back to their outdoor roots to teach them how to be men and how to be people that are self-reliant and can really enjoy what the outdoors has to offer.
Yeah, and also like the vets and all, be able to get their story out there, and what they went through and all that. That's one of the things that interests me, as we deal with veterans and all, just to hear their story. If they have anything they need off their chest, they can talk to us and tell it to the world.
And then it's we've said it 1,000 times, but it's a small token, but we're trying our best to just say thank you for all that those vets have done for each and every one of us here in America, all the liberties they afford us, especially to go have hunting, to have fishing, to have these outdoor activities. So it's really a 5 or 6 headed monster that we're trying to tackle and create, and I'm excited for it.
Yes, sir. Everything's been falling into place so far. God's grace will keep going.
Absolutely. And so I started hunting, I guess sort of to Debbie's point. My dad never really enjoyed deer hunting. He had squirrel hunted when he was younger, and so he taught us how to shoot rifles and how to squirrel hunt, but he never liked deer hunting, so he never took me deer hunting. But my grandmother and my grandfather, they lived right next door, and my grandpa, he loved to deer hunt. So when he passed away when I was 9 years old, that was my way of kind of coping with it, I guess, as a kid, trying to come to grips with the first death that I ever experienced. And it was to do the things that he did. So I got really into hunting. I got really into fishing because he enjoyed those things a lot. And I mean, it's been one of the best blessings of my life to go out and experience those things. I love to do them any opportunity that I get. And then with you and Rod, even though he's over in China, but
he left us.
I never met somebody so selfish in my life. But to but to take you guys hunting and to take you guys fishing, I know Rod was like he told me he had been fishing a couple times growing up and he hated it, and then he got addicted to it this past 2 years that we went and took him fishing with us. He fell in love with it and loved it. So
yeah, this is like me. Is like I love fishing. Only when I'm catching stuff, though. When I was younger, and when I wouldn't catch anything, I'd just get mad and just not want to go anymore. And then, like I told you a couple of weeks ago, I was just like, I'm ready to go fishing. Let's go fishing.
Well, even today when we went and took pictures, it's 38, 37 degrees outside. It's 20-mile-per-hour winds. It's super cold. And we're out there at the lake taking some pictures, and you're just like, well, I'll just throw a couple casts just to see if anything, won't hurt anything if I accidentally catch a fish. So
yeah, I'm like, oh, you only brought one fishing pole? What the heck?
So I guess moving on, since we don't really have much of an agenda, since this is our first time, and one of the things that spurred us to actually just sit down and record this one, I was going to tell you one of my funnier hunting stories that happened to me recently. Um, we when we did our first veteran hunt, when we took Adam Logan hunting back in November, we built a ground blind at the very back of the property. So it's probably 250 yards from the house all the way back to the back of the property. Well, one morning I was out there hunting and sun came up. Didn't really see anything. It was kind of a still morning. And dude, I had to take the biggest shit. Like it was like, so backstory, I had, when we took Adam deer hunting, the night before, we cooked him dinner and everything, and that was the first time I'd had a beer in,
for a while, because stopped.
6 or 7 months. So I hadn't really had any alcohol for about 6 or 7 months, and this was a weekend or two after that. Well, the night before I'd had like a glass of bourbon with my dinner, and so I think it was just my stomach and my body was just still not used to having any alcohol in it.
Yeah, alcohol cleanse.
Yeah. And I felt the wrath of the cleanse part. But so like that next morning I was just sitting in the deer stand, and man, like every 30, 45 minutes my stomach would just and start bubbling up.
Your butt cheeks clench even closer every time.
Yeah, and it's one of those where you sit down and like you're like rolling from cheek to cheek, and you're just like trying to get comfortable because it just hurts so bad. And I'm super stubborn when I hunt. Like I'll sit there all day if I don't have anything to do. But I finally was like, I've got to go. Like this is it. And so for our listener, because there's probably only going to be one, the ground blinds at the very back of the property, and heading back to the house it's straight uphill. And it's like a 30 or 40 yard straight uphill hike, and then it levels off, but then it goes right back uphill. And I start up the hill, and it's just like every step my stomach's just and I'm like, I'm almost in tears. I'm sweating, and it's 30 something degrees outside. I'm like pouring sweat, like just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And like I had to stop, and I was like, I'll just, you know what? I'm just doing it out here in the woods.
That's what I would have done.
But I was just like so stubborn, so determined. I was just like trudging on, and then I got to the yard, and I was just like butt cheeks clenched, just like penguin, just waddling as fast as I could around the house. And I was like, please, please, please don't let the door lock. Please don't let the door be locked. Please don't let the door be locked. And I made it on time. So unfortunately, there's no funny ending there. But
better you than me, because I'd have just been like, you know what, screw it, I'm done. Like post up out by a tree, drop the drawers, and go.
Mm-hmm. Oh well, so Tristan was telling me somewhere where he hunts, he had they have somebody that they share the property with, and he has a bolt-on stand that he bow hunts out of, and Tristan sat in that guy's stand that day, and he was like, I think he was muzzleloader hunting, but he was just like sitting out, and he was waiting and waiting, looking around. He looked down, he's like, what is that? And he like leaned out and leaned forward, and this dude had turned around and hung off the seat of the bolt-on and dropped his pants and just took a shit. But it just like piled up on a branch up under the lock-on. So it was just like sitting there, and it petrified almost.
At least got down and like
Walked
kicked me a hole somewhere to cover it back up.
And how did I know that we're 7 minutes into this podcast and we're already talking about crap? Right? Taking a crap. Like,
I so want to bring up the wrestling story though.
Do it.
All right, guys. So back in how long ago? It's been like 3 years now.
It's been longer than that.
3-4 years since we used to wrestle, and not like high school wrestle. This is like WWE.
We didn't wrestle. We wrestled.
We wrestled. It was fun. Like that's where me and Jake met, and me and Rod, we've been friends a long time. But then that's where me and Jake met, was at this wrestling. at a unknown name we won't mention in this podcast here. But so one night, usually we would get up, go there, be an all day thing on a Saturday. We wouldn't get home till like 2, 3 in the morning most of the time.
Yeah, I mean,
And we would
2
all
o'clock.
meet like halfway, or not even halfway. We'd meet in Oakwood or something, which is kind of closer for all of us, and then we would drive the rest of the way up. Well, one night we'd come back home, and we always stopped at this one Waffle House and ate because it was late. We hadn't eaten dinner. We were all hungry, so we usually do that. So we go, we eat, we joke, we have a good time like normal, and we get out. And I'm like, my stomach started rumbling as soon as we walked out of the Waffle House. I was like, all right, I was like, I can make it home. It's 15 minutes from the house or more.
Mm-hmm.
More like 20. So anyway, I'm like, okay, get in the car. I got to drop Rod off at the little park and go thing. So I drop him off. We go there, and I'm like, get out. Like, literally, get out, get your stuff. I got to go. He's like, why? I said, I got to go. He's like, oh, so he gets out. So I'm driving, and it gets to the point where it's like, it's coming out no matter what. And I'm like, I ain't crapping in my pants or in this car. So I'm like going, I'm like looking around, and I see this road. So I like pull down this road, and then there's this driveway with these big old bushes on both sides of the thing. So I douse my lights, pull in, and I get out, and I go around to the side of the car on the passenger side, in the back side of the 4 doors, and I just like pull pants down and just go. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, hurry up. I'm like, crap, I don't have anything to wipe with. So I was like, oh, I got roadside assistant napkins, right? That's what I'd call them. So I like shimmy my way down the car, by the car, open the door, and I reach in, I grab them, use them, throw them down, and I'm like, get up, pull my pants up, and I run and get in the car, and I just take off. And then I'm like driving down the road, and I call Rod, and I said, I didn't make it. And he goes, what do you mean you didn't make it? I said, I didn't make it. He's like, you crap your pants? I said, no, I pulled off in somebody's yard and dropped one. So if you're listening to this, I'm sorry that I crept in your driveway, but it was an emergency.
Well, so that same night, you guys left the gym before I did. So you guys got to Waffle House before me. And I texted Rod and I said, hey, do me a favor, order me the double Texas patty melt plate with like triple hash browns with chili. Like, I got a whole bunch of food. And Frog was actually like, he's not going to be able to eat all of that. And Rod was like, Frog said you're not going to be able to eat all that. So naturally, I was like, now I have to finish all of it. So I wound up eating all of it. And the next day, I had to go to IHOP for breakfast, and I ate like even more, and I still hadn't taken a dump. And so I finally went, and it was like I lost my soul or something. It was just, it was terrible. And then I texted Rod, and I was like, hey, I was like, I ate and listed everything I ate, and I said, and then I finally took a dump. And he just responded, you need to call Chad and ask him what happened. So I texted you, and I was like, hey, Rod said to ask about what happened last night, and you said, oh boy, call me. And then you called me, and like, we were just rolling on the floor laughing about you pulling off. I wonder what that person did too. Like, the
When they
next
walk
morning.
out and they're like, there's a pile of crap in their driveway with some paper towels or some napkins. They're like, dang,
Really?
bears are getting smart.
Oh man.
They're like, I'm gonna put a camera out here and get this next person that does this. I
Imagine-
wonder if it happens all the time.
Yeah, imagine if you had a trail, like that guy had a trail cam out there, and he was like going through, and he's like looking at deer, and he's like, oh, okay, oh, that's that give that guy a year, and I'll take him, and there's just you ass hanging out from the car door. Oh God.
Oh yeah, but I'm not to mention, like, I went by every time I go by that way to Oakwood, I look over and see if I can see, and like, I guess it's wintertime and you can see down in there. Well, those 2 bushes ain't there no more.
I guarantee you there were plenty of people that did that before and after you.
Because there's a long stretch of road there with nothing there to use to like stop, no gas stations or anything.
That's something we need to invent. It's just like a car seat toilet. Like, they got the
You just like
recliner with
open
it.
it and like a seat pops out
Mm-hmm.
from the car door. You'd have to modify the door to hold on to all that weight.
Yeah. Well, I remember we saw the trailer hitch one.
Oh yeah.
The one that puts in the trailer hitch slot, and we were like, how did we not think of this?
Exactly.
Well, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, I mean I think I have us at 18 minutes and I started us late, so I'm pretty sure we're about 20 minutes in right now.
Well, so yeah, if you've made it this far, all 3 or 4 of you, I know we sound like a couple of idiots that we're very immature, but we wanted to take the next couple of minutes and just explain to you about Outdoor Roots Foundation, which is our nonprofit, which I know we touched on at the beginning. But our plan with the nonprofit is to take underprivileged children, U.S. veterans, people with disabilities, take them out on hunts, fishing trips, outdoor activities, teach them about the outdoors, say thank you, make them a part of our outdoor community with the YDA tribe, and really just change lives. I know that for me, the outdoors saved my life plenty times. And I talk to a lot of people that tell me that hiking, that camping, hunting, fishing, anything outdoors is almost like a medicine for them, which I'm sure the FDA would hate to hear that because it's going to cost them a couple pennies. But if you can, go to outdoorrootsfoundation.org, check out what we're about, see the pictures in our video of where we took Adam Logan hunting. That's what we're going to do, and we need your help to do that. We're doing nothing but being a proxy for you. It's the tribe that makes all of this happen.
Yeah, so all the donations that you give us, we purchase all the equipment and anything that they need for that event. So when they just come and show up and everything's provided for them, and that's what we need you guys' help and just that way we can have it there and they can just show up, have a good time, not have to worry about anything, and just, tell their story and, feel loved. And that's through you guys. So we're just making it happen and you guys are providing it all. So that's the whole tribe mentality. It's for you guys to be able to be a part of this when, say, you live in California or Wyoming or something.
All right. Well, if you guys have any questions, poop stories, hunting stories, anything like that, reach out to us. You can send us a DM on Instagram. You can send us a message on Facebook. You can email us at ydaaoutdoors@gmail.com. You can email me at jake@ydaaoutdoors.com. Chad doesn't have an email. We don't let him type anything.
I'm not allowed to put anything on Instagram.
Okay, so before we close the podcast, we should just do more episodes.
Well, you can email me at Chad at outdoorrootsfoundation.org. Sorry.
So when we first started, this whole harebrained scheme came alive. So we had an Instagram, and I know we're not there yet. We're still trying to figure it all out. But one of the things Chad was very adamant about was posting more. And so I was like, hey, man, you got the login. You go post something. So
hey, you said it, so
it's my fault. Yeah, it's absolutely
my
fault
that you said it, and I was 3 sheets to the wind, okay?
So one weekend, I remember you went somewhere to a racetrack, and you posted a video of it was like 7:4. So it was like in the summer-ish.
It was my nephew's. He races go-karts.
Okay, yeah. Well, you were like on the back of a truck going around the track, but it was like 7:45 in the evening, so it was like almost dark.
Oh no, that one was my nephew. He worked for this race team, and I went out and helped him that weekend, and it was in Savannah.
Either way, so you would go to the YDA Instagram, and it was like deer, trees, river, fish, lake, stream, racetrack at night.
Hey, it's outdoors. Get outdoors and go to the racetrack or something, We ain't all about just hunting and fishing.
So anyway, that was one of those. It was like, oh God, Chad's got the login. Well, then He goes to Gatlinburg with his wife.
No. This was not Gatlinburg.
Where was it?
We went to go see the Cadillac 3. So we went, and my niece, and we went to Chattanooga.
Okay, so he goes to Chattanooga, and I get on my personal Instagram where I follow YDA Outdoors, and I look, and I'm looking at a picture of like a picnic table and some paper plates and some pizza, and I'm like, what is this? And then I look and I see, oh, it's from YDA Outdoors. And the caption read, "They brought out the fine china for us. Ha ha. Live life and party hard, YDA style." And I looked at it for a good 5 minutes, and then Rod sent me a screenshot and said, "We got to change the password so Chad won't post anymore." So now Chad just has to send me the picture before I put the caption up. So.
Well, that's not my fault. I was outside, and to my defense, we were outside having a good time, walking around. Hey, get out, enjoy life, get outside, whatever, Not my fault.
All right, well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, all 5 of you, for tuning in to the Go Somewhere podcast.
Two, okay.
Thank you to all 2 people. So our wives that are actually listening to this.
I'm sure they're going to give us all kinds of criticism.
Yeah, they're like, oh, yeah, it was great, honey. And then, they didn't listen to it.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, listening to our debut episode of the Go Somewhere podcast, presented to you by Blue Falcon Bourbon Whiskey. Have you tasted freedom lately? And Flex Zone Supplements, available at flexzonesups.com. All right, Chad. Well,
yes, sir.
I'll see you next weekend when we do something stupid outdoors.
I hear you. That's going to be fun.
All right. Take care. See you.